Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay conducted a Peace Day caravan in Kamalig to support former rebels as they reintegrate into their communities. Spearheaded by the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office, the event provided livelihood kits, hygiene supplies, and agricultural support to 50 beneficiaries. Partner agencies including the DTI, PSA, PhilHealth, and Provincial Health Office extended various services during the event. The activity highlighted the province's commitment to peace and reconciliation by helping former rebels rebuild their lives and contribute to their communities. In other story, Albay officials united to reaffirm their commitment to child protection and welfare. During the flag-raising ceremony marking the 33rd National Children's Month, PSWDO head Maria Vivian Sea said that the program continued to ensure that every child grows up safe and supported. Board member Das Maronilla reminded everyone that protecting children is a shared moral responsibility of the community. Congresswoman Leila de Lima also paid a courtesy visit to Governor Noel Rizal, commending Albay's child protection initiatives. Governor Rizal lauded PSWDO officials and employees for their continued efforts to uphold children's rights and create a safer environment for Albay's youth. In other news, Provincial Administrator Engineer Raul Rizal underscored the value of unity and teamwork during the opening salvo of the Interdepartment Sports Fest of the Provincial Government of Albay. He encouraged employees to play with enthusiasm, support one another, and build stronger bonds beyond the workplace. Rizal stressed that the Sports Fest is not just about competition but an opportunity to promote wellness, friendship, and collaboration among government workers. He said the event reflects the energy and dedication that define the provincial government of Albay. In the national scene, Malacanang has issued a statement in response to the latest social weather station survey, which reported that about half of Filipino families, or approximately 14.2 million households, consider themselves poor. Communications Undersecretary Claire Castro described the survey as a subjective indicator of well-being. She said the government will review the survey results while placing greater weight on income-based data from the Philippine Statistics Authority for a more objective assessment. Castro emphasized that the government values public sentiment and will continue to consider it in enhancing social programs and services. She cited economic indicators such as a 96.1% employment rate, a 1.7% inflation rate, and the implementation of anti-poverty initiatives including Walang Gutom, Kalahi Seeds, and the Sustainable Livelihood Program. She also reported that more than 860,000 beneficiaries of the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program have emancipated from poverty. Malacanang expressed confidence in the country's capacity to withstand the impact of the weakening peso, citing expected holiday remittances and robust tourism performance. The palace stated that additional remarks will be provided following the release of the President's Economic Team's official statement. In other story, the Philippines has been ranked first among 193 countries in the 2025 World Risks Index for flood vulnerability. Experts said the country's geography and exposure to extreme weather make it highly prone to floods, with risks varying across regions. During the briefing of the House Committee on Sustainable and Development Goals and Climate Change, Forest Ayala de Leon of the Forest Foundation Philippines urged the use of nature-based and sustainable solutions to address climate change instead of relying solely on dams and seawalls. Lawmakers agreed, saying these solutions can protect the environment, support communities, create livelihoods, and strengthen disaster resilience. The Congress is working on policies like the Low-Carbon Economy Bill and guidelines for nature-based approaches. Some representatives also warned that corruption in flood control projects makes disaster worse, calling instead for true disaster preparedness and protection of natural resources. In other news, 4 former officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways are still under review as they seek to become full-fledged state witnesses in the ongoing investigation of alleged irregularities in flood control projects. Roberto Bernardo, Henry Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and J.P. Mendoza have been cooperating with authorities, frequently appearing at the Department of Justice to provide information. While they have already been granted protected witness status, their formal applications to become state witnesses are still under careful evaluation. The Department of Justice has described the process as thorough and time-consuming, following strict guidelines and requirements. The review is part of the broader investigation conducted together with the National Bureau of Investigation and the Philippine National Police, and authorities emphasize that it does not rely solely on the testimonies of these former officials or other prospective witnesses. The results of their applications, as well as the wider probe into the flood control projects, continue to attract attention from both government agencies and the public. And in the news outside the country, South Korea is said to make a major push in technology and defense with its 2026 national budget announced by President Lee Jae-myung. The proposed budget totals to 728 trillion won, an 8.1% increase from this year. A central focus of the said increase in budget is artificial intelligence, or AI. President Lee said 10.1 trillion won, equivalent to $7 million or over 400 billion pesos, will be invested to make South Korea one of the world's top 3 AI powers alongside the United States and China. A 2.6 trillion won will go toward integrating AI into industries, daily life, and government services, while 7.5 trillion won will be used to build AI infrastructure and train skilled professionals. South Korea's leading tech companies, including Samsung and SK Hynix, are expected to play key roles in producing advanced chips needed for AI. NVIDIA recently announced plans to supply 260,000 of its most advanced chips to South Korea, reflecting growing international confidence in the country's AI ambitions. The budget also proposes a significant increase in defense spending. 66.3 trillion won has been allocated to the military, 8.2% rise from this year and the largest boost in 6 years. The funding will support modernization efforts, including upgrading conventional weapons with AI-enabled systems and enhancing overall military capabilities. South Korea already spends more than 1.4 times North Korea's annual GDP on defense and ranks 5th globally in military strength. The country also hosts 28,500 U.S. troops, serving as a deterrent against threats from the north. President Lee has emphasized a policy of dialogue with North Korea without preconditions, signaling a shift from his predecessor's approach. If approved by Parliament, the 2026 budget will mark a major step forward for South Korea, strengthening its position as a global AI leader while reinforcing national security. In other story, Dick Cheney, the 46th Vice President of the United States, one of the most influential and controversial figures in modern American politics, has died at the age of 84. His family said he passed away due to complications from pneumonia, heart, and vascular disease. Cheney served under President George W. Bush from 2001 to 2009 and was widely regarded as one of the most powerful vice presidents in U.S. history. He played a pivotal role in shaping the administration's response to the September 11 attacks and was a leading advocate for the invasion of Iraq. Before his vice presidency, Cheney served as Secretary of Defense during the Gulf War and as a U.S. congressman from Wyoming. His experience in defense and national security informed his influential and often controversial approach to foreign policy. His legacy remains deeply intertwined with the Iraq War, a conflict that reshaped U.S. foreign policy and remains a defining chapter in his political career. And finally, in the news outside the country, the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs announced that it is coordinating with French authorities following the disappearance of a bust of the national hero Jose Rizal in Paris. The monument located at Place Jose Rizal in the 9th arrondissement, who was reported missing between the night of October 25 and 26. It was inaugurated in 2022 to mark the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the Philippines and France. The Philippine Embassy in Paris has notified local authorities and is exploring options for the recovery or replacement of the monument. The bust serves as a significant symbol for the Filipino community in France and represents the enduring friendship between the two nations. While the motive behind remains unclear, investigations are ongoing, and the DFA affirms its commitment to preserving Rizal's legacy abroad. And that's all for the news at 12, November 6, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer, LJ Lurejo and Naomi Ruth Hernandez. And on the technical side, Chad Baudis. Our Provincial Information Officer, OIC Modi Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noel Rizal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.